Frugal living is something that I thrive on and strive for in my daily life, as both of my parents were boomer babies, and this is how I was raised. My mother was the epitome of a vintage homemaker. She made everything from scratch, including bread, and all of our snacks after school were homemade, and all of our meals were from scratch. We rarely ever had an occasion where we ate out, and if we did, it was memorable. And I feel as though now more than ever, we need these lessons in our life, especially with the heavy influence of the online world, chasing us to buy this or that and everything that we don't need. Growing up, the women that I was surrounded by looked to their neighbors, friends, and acquaintances that they knew for homemaking inspiration, and the way that they decorated their homes was not nearly as aesthetic as things are nowadays. Today, we all look online for inspiration and feel the need to live up to a certain standard. And this just wasn't the way it was when I was growing up. Homes were not very aesthetically pleasing, but people made do with what they had and what they could afford. Today I'm making pizza rolls for my family, and I'm using a recipe from the Flower Barn Homestead. They have a YouTube channel that I've very much been enjoying watching in my spare time. And this is their cinnamon bun dough recipe, but they had the suggestion of making pizza rolls. So that's what I'm doing today. Being a from-scratch homemaker isn't easy. And I've wavered from time to time, buying things that are quick and simple. And I struggle at times to be an ingredients cook and only shop for ingredients. It is the least expensive way to go, but it's very time consuming to cook things from scratch for your family. But my mom is my biggest inspiration as a homemaker, and I do what I do to care for my family and to keep up the tradition of homemaking. Being a frugal homemaker means being resourceful, using what you have around you, and getting creative. From using up all of the vegetables that you have in your fridge, to eating leftovers, to utilizing any sort of container or what have you around your home and reusing these items. Being an old-fashioned homemaker is something that has always been near and dear to me, and so I've learned an assortment of skills along my way. Things like canning, pressure canning, sewing and mending, learning how to knit, growing my own food and gardening, and all kinds of things. Not only are these great skills to have, but the biggest reason to learn them is self-sufficiency and becoming self-reliant. Because the more that we need other people to do things for us, the more reliant on the system we become. These days, it's become a little bit more challenging for me as a homemaker, as a lot of my kids have grown up and have become adults, and there is less of a need for my skill than there used to be. And so I battle sometimes with going and getting the ingredients instead of some quicker items that would be so much easier and would also make my family happy. But I continue onwards and keep striving to keep my old-fashioned homemaking alive. Because I not only think that there is value in learning these old-fashioned skills, but I also think that there is so much value in teaching it to the next generation and being an example, because this way of life is becoming lost. My dad had an old saying, probably stemming from the wartime period, which was, use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. And he really lived by this. My dad would save the ends of the soaps in a jar, and he had a whole jar full of soap ends just in case. And they lived very frugal lives, and I really appreciate that I got to learn these frugal ways. And I have to say that it's one of my strongest skills, and I thrive during hard times. When I need to tighten the belt and tighten those purse strings, I know what to do and I get to work. This is homemade yogurt, and it's one of the things that I make consistently for my family, and it really does save us a lot of money, and we enjoy it for breakfast, snacks, or even dessert. It really is cost effective, and I do have a video on how to make it. I'll share the link for that video down below in the description box. These pizza rolls just turned out so delicious, and everyone absolutely loved them. One of the ways that I remain frugal is that I have a rule of thumb that I do not shop for seasonal decor. I don't go out and buy pumpkin and leaf inspired tablecloths and all kinds of cushions, and I simply don't spend any money at all on seasonal decor. I prefer to buy things that are classic and will be able to be used year-round. And I feel like this is a really great way to stay within your budget. There is a lot of pressure online to follow the trends, and it seems like every year there are new trends when it comes to decor, and so you just can't keep up. And even if you were to tuck that decor away, by the next season, a lot of it is not trend-worthy anymore. And for me, I just don't see it worthy of spending money on. When we moved into this farmhouse 4 years ago, I didn't have a lot of the items that I have now, and I did spend a lot of time curating what I thought suited the home. And what I did was I kept looking at the space and the home and the way that it was, and there were certain things that the home almost screamed out to have. And so I looked for items that fit the time period of the home, and I feel like it really worked out. And I have things very simple, but I don't feel the need to go out and spend any more. I have read a lot of vintage homemaking books and instruction manuals for the housewife, and a lot of it has to do with really maintaining and caring for what you already have. And this is something that women were very good at and were taught to do. And I think it is a really great approach to put your focus and energy into really caring for and loving the items that you already own. In the past, I found so many treasures and heirloom items and beautiful things that I really wanted in my home. But because my home was already so cluttered, it really didn't have the effect that I was hoping for. And really, it just went unnoticed into a pile of more stuff. And so since decluttering my home and really honing in on the style that I want, now my journey is about maintaining and upkeeping what I have. Homemaking seems to be a never-ending chore, and it seems like when you excel in one area, other areas can suffer. And there are just so many tasks and things for a homemaker to do that it just seems so very hard. And I was just looking at a homemaking book from the year 1921 this morning on the online archives. And homemakers usually had staff. They usually had help. They weren't doing it all alone. And usually these wealthier homemakers had at least one or two staff members that helped with cooking and cleaning. And the homemaker's chore was just to take care of the budget, the children, and managing the staff. And in comparison to the homemaker of today, I feel like we have so much on our plates, from laundry to cleaning to cooking to grocery shopping to managing the budget. There are just so many things to consider, and it can all become very confusing at times. And homemakers of the past actually took an entire course on how to become a homemaker. And I really wish that we still had that available to us today. But unfortunately, we are on our own figuring it out and doing the very best that we can to provide the best that we can for our families. But sometimes it's just too much. Another book that I thoroughly enjoyed, I found in a local thrift store, and it was actually a book on sewing for girls that were in school. And they were basically taught how to create an entire wardrobe for each member of the family, basically a capsule wardrobe that told you how many items of socks, underwear, shirts, and all the clothing items that this person would need. And then they were taught to learn their best colors and how to coordinate the items together so that they worked as a unit, so that they could get the most use out of each item. And they were taught to mend the clothing so that it lasted, or how to alter things so that they could take a skirt and turn it into the newest fashion. And I just find this so fascinating. And they also learned all of the different fabrics and what types of fabrics were to be used for each season. And so there are just so many areas that we can become better at in our quest for frugal homemaking. And I am so glad that you joined me in today's video. I really love this subject, and I will definitely share more on my channel. So subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care and have a great day.